All right, let's talk about neural pathways. This is the concept of how the brain is going to talk to the body. And neural pathways are something that we can build all the time, right? We can create them by actually engaging the tissue. This, in terms of a Chinese medicine perspective, is fascinating. It's brilliant. The idea that the shun, the consciousness, is the thing that's moving around the body, and it's moved in the blood, right? The blood houses the shun. It creates a place for the shun to sit. And so, we've seen this as like a demonstration in Chinese medicine. That classic idea that, like, if you were to take an elastic band and put it on your finger and it went purple, you couldn't really feel it as much because the blood flow has been impeded, and therefore the shun doesn't have the ability to move through that tissue. Right? When I say, hey, listen, I want you to think about your left butt cheek, all of a sudden everybody's shun goes there, and now you're more aware of that area. The shun was there before, but you've put your consciousness to it. So the shun, or your consciousness, is the thing that allows you to create motion and feeling in tissue. The body speaks to certain areas more often. It makes sense. You use your hands more often. So the neural pathways are really big there. Think about it like an idea of the difference between a little path in the forest and a 4-lane highway. The traffic on the highway is huge. You couldn't run the big trucks through the path on the forest, right? The reason being is the pathway has been designed and built to carry more information. The way that you build that is by using it. So think about learning a new skill physically. Playing the guitar is a great example. At first, you're trying to get your fingers to go into the chord shapes. Yeah, it doesn't feel right. 5 years later, your fingers are moving by themselves because you've built up the neural pathways. This is how your body's talking to the tissue, how the shun is controlling it. When you have an injury like a stroke, you damage the neural pathways. You damage the way that the body's able to talk to the tissue. So the problem isn't with the tissue. The problem is you have a blockage in the way that the computer can talk down, can actually use those pathways. So one thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and help mobilize and build these neural pathways back into the tissue, because the body's incredible and the brain is incredible. It's always trying to grow these pathways. So even if you've had damage, you can rehab that. Now, the trick in there is the sooner you start to treat something, the faster you're going to be able to do it, because the body's in recovery mode. So if you wait years and years and years after a stroke, it's going to be trickier. It is better sooner. That's just how it is. That's just how tissue recovers and how the body recuperates, right? Because it's going to set up neural pathways and be done after a certain amount of time. It's not to say that you can't make changes years down the road. I've had patients come in that have had strokes 4 or 5 years earlier, and we've gained function. But the times that we've had real functional change has definitely been within that sort of, I would say, within a 6-month window is really good. Within a 3-year window, that's the space that we're really making changes. And I have had the experience that the more those neural pathways were developed before, the more we have to work with, right? The damage that's there, if you damage 2 out of the 4 lanes on the highway, we still got a 2-lane highway. If we were dealing with neural pathways like a path in the forest and we damage that, we don't have a lot to work with. It's going to take more time. But every stroke is different, and every aspect of these pathways is different. Now, the way that we're going to stimulate that, that's the fun stuff.